Kia ora, boys and girls. Welcome to part two. So we've taken on Ant-Man, Gulk, and Spider-Gwen, and now we're going to take on the other three. So I'm going to go ahead against Human Torch, and for this one, I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use Quake, because if he never touches me, he can't incinerate me, and that's great. And then I don't have to ramp up his temperature. I don't have to deal with not doing energy attacks. I don't have to do any of that stuff. So I'll just go ahead with Quake. And because the buffet takes away buffs, instead of evading, I'm going to try to just get that natural evade and then block and then parry. Because that means he'll regen less and less, and I'll take more and more damage out of him. Now, there, I can't quite remember, but there is a potential that right at the end of this fight I lag, or it might be the next fight. Um, and then yeah, I'll just get done. But so far it's kind of going pretty well. I got an incinerate, but that's fine. And we're just gonna, you know, quake and bake the whole time. Now it does take a little bit of practice to get good with Quake. I'm still not. I won't say I'm great with Quake, but I'm okay. I use her quite a bit in uncollected content. I use her quite a bit in like Herald of Galactus events um, and some Act 6 content. She does have she definitely does have her spots where she's absolutely amazing, and then she has some fights where she's just throwaway. Like if you're trying to take on Iron Man Infinity War, for example, she's absolutely useless. But there are some fights which is really a good matchup against Thing, for example. If he can be stunned, she's one of the best options. Again, against Human Torch as well. So so far we haven't touched him, but we're doing a fair bit of damage. Um, we get him down a fair ways, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but not terrible. So I think what I'm going to do here is like come in with Killmonger, and now with the Void Synergy, this means that every time you get a debuff on you, you shake it off and regen 4% of your life. So it's really good. It gives Killmonger some absolutely insane regen, and I have to give a shout out to one of my friends in the Alliance, Mr. Sensitivity, that told me about this, and he was like, "Oh, you should use Void and Killmonger." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll test it out." And it actually went way better than I expected because I didn't mean to R5 Killmonger in the first place. I had overflow skill cats that I needed to use, and so I was like, okay, well, who's the best option right now? Because I've been saving for Nick Fury. And I was like, well, Killmonger seems to be my best option, so I'm gonna go ahead and R5 him. And it just so happened that he was absolutely perfect for this event. So I go in here, I finish it off. Now I take a little bit of damage because Human Torch does do a lot of damage anyway. But then we carry on to, oh, it's not even Invisible Woman. It's what is it? Invisible Man, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Man. So the great thing about actually this doesn't matter. Either of them kind of work the same way. The great thing about both of these guys is they give you this weakness on you, and Killmonger has the ability to shake that off um, and regen. So you'll see that I started this fight really terribly, but I'm gonna end up with quite a lot of life. And even though I mess up and I get hit there, but that's fine. Now, what I was gonna try to do in this fight is pretty much alternate between SP1 and SP2, just trying to get as many bleeds as I can on this guy, and then I was going to drop in SP3, just because his damage is not as high as like Aegon's or Quake, because obviously his damage is just reliant on his base damage. It doesn't get ramped up or anything. So that worked out pretty well. It was a bit of a longer fight. I mean, it's definitely longer than if I came in here with Aegon, but at the moment Aegon's on like 5% life or 10% life or something. I don't really want to use revives. I don't really want to use pots if I don't have to. So I thought I'd give this guy a go. And also because you got that true strike, I can hit him uh, even when he tries to evade. And Actually, this fight's really interesting because I'm really going aggressive, and the reason for that is because the reason I went through the SP3 is because I had thrown the SP2 and I had those indestructible charges. And another cool thing with Killmonger, I mean, I'm starting to just love this guy more and more because he's like so useful. When you have the SP2 on and you have the indestructible charges, you can tank an SP3. So you can take a full SP3 and it does no damage to you. So I think at that point I was just like, oh, I've still got some of his charges. I'm just going to keep going and get him to push the SP3 rather than try to bait out the special. And as you can see, like we started the fight with I don't know about 50% life, and now we're 100%. And we've made mistakes, and we've taken damage, and we've taken an FP1 to the face. We've taken block damage, but with the voice synergy, this guy is just he's something else. He's I really really rate him. He's a really good champion to have. Um, so as you can see, it's a little bit of a longer fight, obviously, but we are getting there. The bleeds are doing a lot of damage. I'm up to 24 bleeds, as you can see there. There's like the green, gray counter on the right. And if you haven't used Killmonger, basically above 15 bleeds, every time you give him a bleed, that counter goes up to a maximum of 50. And then if you drop an SP3, you'll do some insane damage multiplied by the amount of bleeds you've inflicted in the fight. So one of the strategies to take down X6 Medusa, the Do You Bleed Medusa, is pretty much just to bleed her with Killmonger until you get to 50 charges and then just drop that SP3 and she just melts. So the last fight we have is against Void. Now Void was the tricky one, to be honest. Okay, up until here everything was pretty easy, but Void had Mix Master, he had Spry, uh, Bleed and Poison didn't really matter, and the other no didn't really matter, but it was mainly Spry, Mix Master, and the fact that he has a lot of unavoidable damage. So I decided I was going to try my luck with Killmonger. Um, and the strategy here was quite straightforward. It's basically going to be light, medium, light, medium. But you have to kind of keep track because if you go light, medium, your next attack can't be medium, light, medium. Your next attack has to be light, medium, light, medium. So if you're going, so what does that mean? So like if I parry and I go light, medium, I need to parry again. I can't dash in. Whereas if I parry and I go medium, light, medium, then I can intercept. Actually, no, wait, that doesn't work. But you know what I mean. Like you can't repeat the same thing again. If you're going medium, light, medium, the next one has to be light. If you're going light, medium, the next one has to be light. So that kind of only worked so well. It didn't really work fantastic. And then I decided I'm going to come in with Aegon, and I'm just going to go for broke here. A couple of pots, and I'm going to do as much damage as I can. I've already got 300 combo, doing a lot of fury damage, and this will take him down basically as quick as I can. You can see the iTools watermark. That's for my Bluetooth uh, screen mirror. So the cool thing as well is because of the tenacity, you kind of shake off some of Void's debuffs, so that actually worked to my advantage. Um, the annoying thing is with the Spry, he does a lot more damage because the Spry counts as a debuff, and so it's really, really nasty. So this fight was a little bit tricky because there were so many things you're taking into account of. You're taking into account his power, you're taking into account if you have a debuff on you, which every time he evades, you have a debuff. You can see it does 1100 damage there. You can't shake it off. Then, of course, you've got your Void general debuffs, which degenerate you as well. And then you've got Mix Water, Mix Master, which means you've got to alternate light and mediums. So it was a really annoying fight with a lot of stuff to take on and some unavoidable damage. And I guess most of you guys probably would have used a few revives for it. I think I found the best way to get past this guy is Aegon. Killmonger did do a good job though. But you can see like once you get one of the debuffs on you, especially that Spry one, it's game over because he's taking 1100 damage a tick. And at a max out 5 star, you're looking at 35,000. You're looking at 30 seconds of that, and it takes you down from full health to 0. So I come back, I give Killmonger another go, now that I'm a bit more familiar with this guy. And I can't remember if he actually works pretty well here. Let's find out. So go medium, light, medium, and then my next one is going to have to be light. Otherwise, you see, he evades, and I get that debuff on me. So, didn't pay much attention there. But that's why I say, if you have done medium, light, medium, you need to parry him so that your next attack can be light. So I go in, I revive, I go with Aegon. I think that ended up being my best option. I did have some free revives, so I didn't really have to spend on this fight. I've got a lot of stockpile from just your normal uncollected events and random events here and there. So I think here my strategy was basically just go as far as you can, and it's just going to be uh, yeah, as far as you can until you get that debuff, and then try to shake it off as soon as you can, because otherwise you're dead. So unfortunately, there was no real smart way around this guy. Um, like you can't use Quake because Quake doesn't do combo. So eventually, his Fear of the Void is going to take care of you. Um, the Mixed Master, I don't feel like True Strike counteracts it. Um, so that means that you can't just bring like a Corvus, and anyway, he does has way too much life for Corvus to take out in one. Um, Killmonger struggled with this as well. Oh yeah, I did find out that True Strike can get past him a little bit with Aegon, but it's still a little bit RNG related. But yeah, a couple of revives with Aegon and Killmonger, and I was able to get this guy down. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed the fight. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. And I'll upload a little more stuff soon. Gotta keep the eye on, no bros and girls.